Hello, and welcome to the Upper Susquehanna Watershed Project. I can't tell you how excited I am to have you join us today for our online class through this adventure in MeWe's. I will be explaining all of that in just a moment. First off, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Amy Wyatt. I'm the Executive Director of the Otsego County Conservation Association and your welcoming committee here to get you started on your class. We are going to go through just a little bit together of what the project is, how it got started, what the heck we're going to go through, and then you can jump in with some of my amazing team to get right into the meaningful watershed educational experiences. Start a little bit with some background history. So first off, OCCA. This is the Otsego County Conservation Association, was started in 1968 by a group of concerned citizens who wanted to protect trees and look at responsible forestry. Since then, we have expanded into a lot of different activities, all of them couched in the big picture of resource conservation. Our big focus and the reason that we do the work we do is because we are trying to develop the next generation of environmental stewards here in our area. Well, you might ask, what do you guys have to do with this project? Well, we do a variety of things from community education to citizen science to invasive species removal, as well as recycling and all kinds of fun and exciting things. I highly recommend, if you're at all interested, to check out our website at occainfo.org. So our role in this project is really about getting to be directly connected with local teachers in helping them work on a framework to get students thinking about conservation, working on an outside project, going out and having that field experience. And then the most exciting part to us was that last piece that we'll talk about later on in the class about getting out into the world and really having that community experience or that stewardship project so they can see the process from coming up with an idea, that student-led activity, and working that idea all the way through to really getting into the community and showing that they can make a difference. So throughout this process, there is a variety of alphabet soup, starting with just the folks who have to do with the project itself. We've already been introduced to OCCA. Now, when we put the project together, our main focus was trying to develop what we call the New York Watershed Education Network, or we call it NYWIN. So this is all the teachers who have participated in our work since its inception to onto the future. We like to keep them connected so that there's an education network of teachers who have this background in this MeWe framework and who are excited about doing this work. We also want to make sure we definitely talk about NOAA. So this is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So this is the federal branch. So this is NOAA Chesapeake Bay, and they are the fantastic folks who have funded this project for us here in New York, as well as been a great resource and partner in getting things off the ground and making sure that our work moves forward. VWET is another one of our alphabet soup adventures that you will see throughout this class, and that stands for the Bay Watershed Education and Training Program. Now, this program is actually a program of NOAA, and they use it throughout all of their Bay education. MeWe, which is something, the whole reason we're here actually, right, is the meaningful watershed educational experience. And this is the framework I keep referencing. This framework was developed by NOAA and is used throughout multiple watersheds throughout the United States. And we're very excited to jump right in. All right. So as you may know, New York and specifically Otsego Lake, where our office is located, is the headwaters of the Chesapeake Bay. So our portion of the Chesapeake Bay is starting on Otsego Lake that comes down through the Susquehanna and then moves down into Pennsylvania. So when we're talking about our local community in the Chesapeake Bay, this is the folks that we're talking about. And one of the big picture things that NOAA is really trying to accomplish with their MeWes is watershed education so that people can understand. So maybe maybe we know that New York is the headwaters of Chesapeake Bay. Not everyone understands the big picture of how activities in New York State can have an effect down in the bay for crabs, right? So they seem very far apart, but it's really about that bigger picture, teaching the connectivity between those things. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background on the project. So our project here, OCCA's big picture project of our NIWIN project. So it started back in 2021 where we did hybrid workshops. So obviously there were reasons, but we did most of our education via just like this online education. And then we would get our groups together in a socially distant manner to do the actual outdoor activities and doing those field experiences, which you will learn more about in a moment. And then 2022, we had our very first in-person workshop, which was wonderful. We had a group of teachers, about 15 teachers, join us at the Pine Lake Environmental Education Center in Oneonta, New York, and it was spectacular. We were there for 5 days and had a wonderful time really getting that in-depth, very focused work on experiencing this as well as learning the framework so that the teachers who were there could not only learn the framework but experience it as if they were a student. We then did another in-person workshop on Pine Lake in 2023. This one was a little bit shorter, so that was the main thing afterwards, though. Everybody was like, we could have done this for extra days. So for the 2023 and 2024, we've been doing one-day workshops with groups of teachers, moving ourselves throughout the Chesapeake Bay watershed to bring that education to those groups. And then the future square, which is not on this slide, is what we're doing right now. This online class where we can engage teachers throughout the entire Chesapeake Bay watershed without having to travel, and making sure that you can still get some of those experiences and learning this framework and hopefully be able to bring it to your classroom. So, as with any project, of course, there were challenges. So some of the background of the challenges that we've had, just in general, Chesapeake Bay, as I mentioned before, has not always been the top priority in New York. So when it came to the Chesapeake Bay Agreement, which was really getting off the ground in 1987, New York, West Virginia, and Delaware actually didn't sign on until 2000, which really, like we said, it feels like a completely different world, but we are very much connected, and that is very important. Like we mentioned before, it's really hard for, an upstate New York fifth grader to understand how activities here in our area can affect blue crab down in the Chesapeake Bay. So we are so geographically removed that it just feels very different, like two different worlds. We also, which as you know, as teachers, there are no environmental literacy standards here in New York right now. And then, of course, COVID. When the project got off the ground, we had originally planned on more in-person, large-scale activities and groups where we could bring a lot more than 15 teachers together. But as we all know, we had to pivot and make it happen. So here we are, still sharing information, and we're very excited to have you join us on our adventure. So with no further ado, you are going to meet some fantastic instructors. These are my team here at OCCA, and they have a passion for teaching, they have a passion for the environment, and they have a passion for bringing students out into the world to really get that big picture understanding of how things work. And they are incredible. I hope that you enjoy your class. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to us. Our information is on the main page for the class. And as you move through this class, you will see that there will be some informational pages, there will be some evaluation pages. You are welcome to use anything here to use in your own classroom. And if you have any questions at all, just reach out. We're just around the corner and here to help. So with no further ado, enjoy your class and have a great day. Thanks.